Today we're talking gut health and specifically going number 2.
Maybe you're too embarrassed to ask, but everybody wants to know about poop. So just like we watch what we put in our body, it's important to watch what comes out. Our poop could really tell us a lot.
And it's important to talk during the springtime about this because it's the cleansing and detoxing time of year. And a bowel movement is one of our primary ways that we detoxify on a daily basis. So a healthy bowel movement is usually 1, maybe 2 times a day, and within the hour of waking up, because at night our body naturally detoxifies. But if we are releasing too quickly or too often, that's showing that we have malabsorption. And if we're doing it too slowly or not often enough, that's showing we're holding on to excess toxicity.
And so if you're on that slow train, you're probably constipated, your stool is probably hard, maybe granular, and even hard to go. And so this is a problem. You might need to increase your hydration, increase fiber, and increase movement.
And now when we're talking movement, it's just as simple as going for a walk, because walking is increasing that peristaltic movement in the intestine. If we're doing a lot of heavy weightlifting or running on the pavement or pounding exercises, this actually could be really tightening to the intestines.
And if you're on the fast train, you're going to often, your stool might be soft, mushy, liquidy, diarrhea-ish. This is a problem as well. It's showing inflammation in the gut, and you need to work on your gut health and the gut lining, and we're gonna work on that.
So one indicator of anything that's coming out physically in the body, it's usually related to how we are processing things and digesting emotionally as well. So if we are someone that holds on to things or maybe doesn't really speak our mind, we might see that reflective in our bowel movements. And the same is true on the other side. If we are just pushing things away, not taking the time to go into things, we'll see that, or being really anxious, we'll see that as well in the bowel movement.
The emotional part is very important, as well as the physical. And on a physical level, we can feed ourselves lots of fiber to help move digestion. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Both are important. All plant foods have them both. And so soluble fiber is going to look like oats and beans, sweet potatoes, avocados, broccoli, things like this. These foods are going to swell up and gel up in the intestines, and that's a good thing because it's going to make you feel full and satisfied, and it's going to slow down digestion so that your body has time to absorb the nutrients out of the foods as it's slowly moving through. It's also going to help feed the good bacteria in your gut. And so we want to feed these guys. They really help us out a lot. And this is the food you're giving them. And it's a good thing. Then there's insoluble fiber. It's things like skins and seeds and stems and all these foods and leafy greens. They just sweep through your body and move things through. They're like a scrub brush for your intestine, and they're really important. They not only clean out the intestines, they also clean out toxins. And the beautiful thing about nature is if you eat the whole food, you're probably getting a good balance of soluble and insoluble fiber, like the sweet potato. The inside's soluble, the skin is insoluble. So eat the whole food.
And taking a step back from even looking directly at the gut and looking at your entire condition and what the environment is like before you even start eating or as you're eating. Are you in the car? Are you sitting behind a computer screen? Are you, constantly on the go? If so, you're still in fight or flight. Your body needs to be in rest and digest, which is when you're deeply breathing into the belly, you're chewing your food completely so that it's going to help go into the stomach easier and increase the digestive fire to help it break down. It's going to be a really calming practice. So if you have any bloating or distension or gas, we need to figure out what's going on up here first. And then if you have something like candida overgrowth, that's showing a lot of stress in the body, a lot of expansion, specifically with the valve between the large and the small intestine has been weakened. So the candida will escape and start to overgrow in the small intestine. If you've heard of SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that's usually due to a weak digestive fire because the bacteria will come in the form of food. It usually gets burned off in the stomach, but then it'll end up in the gut.
And speaking of digestive fire, it is the highest, most efficient during the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So if you think about it, if you eat most of your food, if you have a nice big meal between those hours for brunch or going out to lunch with friends, usually come dinner time, you're not even that hungry, you're just ready for bed. So it's a very healthy way to eat.
Yeah, and really what we're saying here is that the best way to improve the health of your gut and your digestion is by going to these real whole foods. We're not telling you to go buy an expensive probiotic supplement because you're just wasting your money, as most of those bacteria are actually dead by the time that you come home. So instead, go for these springtime veggies that are high in prebiotics, which means it'll help your body produce its own probiotics.
And they're alive, just like in this spring Buddha bowl that we made today. It's full of veggies and full of fiber, and we will, if you sign up for simply-seasonal.com, sign up for our emails, you'll get the recipe for this and also the chimichurri sauce that is so wonderful on top of it, packed with herbs. And you will get a chart to compare your stool to a healthy stool and know what's going on.
Well, that sounds simple enough.
Because it's Simply Seasonal.
Today's episode is going to be a shitty one. Are we not doing it?
It's already shitty. What's the scoop, Megan?
On poop.
Wait, that wasn't so shitty after all.
One of our best episodes ever.
Ever.